The film opens with a group of scientists exploring a forest on a Russian peninsula. They are guided by a resident. The goal of this scientific expedition is to search for and preserve rare animals with historical value. Deep in the forest, they discover footprints resembling those of bears but with an abnormally massive size. As they move further inside, they encounter several bears with severe wounds around their abdomens. Upon closer inspection, they identify claw marks from a predatory creature of unnatural scale. After gathering several clues, they decide to stay overnight in the forest and wait for the enormous creature to appear. After a long period of waiting, Brandon notices movement within the bushes. However, what emerges is only a fox. Just as everyone lowers their guard, a terrifying roar echoes through the forest, revealing the silhouette of a bear of astonishing size. Harker prepares to fire at the massive beast, but Travis immediately stops him and tries to distract it. Travis lures the giant bear into a more open area, where Brandon is ready with a high-powered spotlight that enrages the creature and traps it between the trees. However, Harker suddenly appears and fires multiple shots at the bear, driving it into a frenzy. The bear then breaks away and begins attacking the group. Tragically, Scott becomes a victim of its rage and is killed, while the bear escapes into the depths of the forest. After this incident, the relationship between Travis and Harker becomes strained, especially because of Harker's reckless attempt to kill the bear when their mission was purely research. One day, Travis receives a visitor, a lawyer named Doug. Doug represents a wealthy businessman who is developing a clean water project. The problem is that a mysterious creature has appeared in the project area, and the client wants Travis to investigate. Doug shows a video recording of the creature, which resembles an ancient crocodilian of enormous size. Seeing this, Travis immediately travels to China with Katie and Brandon. Upon arrival, they are welcomed by Doug and Bay, who guide them throughout their stay in China. Doug takes them to a lake where the Clean Water Project is located. He reveals that since the mysterious creature appeared, several workers have vanished without explanation, leaving the rest terrified. This fear is quickly confirmed that night, when a worker inspecting the area hears strange noises behind a gate. As he tries to leave, the crocodile-like creature suddenly emerges and devours him. The next morning, Doug and Bay return to the project site to investigate reports of the missing worker. There they meet a local biologist. However, Travis is shocked to see Harker arrive with a new team, clearly intending to hunt the prehistoric creature. Travis is deeply unhappy with Harker's presence because of his brutal and impulsive methods. Harker mocks Travis, claiming that only force and firepower can solve the problem. Even so, Travis remains determined to capture the creature alive for scientific study. Afterward, Doug and Bay return to the base camp, where Katie and Brandon have prepared a massive cage to trap the prehistoric beast. However, Travis becomes frustrated upon learning that the local authorities have secretly paid Harker to handle the situation. Because of this, Katie and Brandon reassure him and insist that their team will be the ones to capture the creature first. Later, Travis and Bay visit the nearby villagers and meet a resident named Wuhan. Meanwhile, Doug and Brandon stay close to the lake area. At the same time, Dow notices fish being violently thrown out of the water, an entirely unnatural phenomenon. Sure enough, moments later the massive creature suddenly emerges, destroying the dock and attacking Dow, who is standing on it. Fortunately, Dow manages to flee in time and narrowly escapes death. In another development, Wuhan takes Travis and Bay to a school to review a video recording of the prehistoric creature. There they meet a teacher named Jen, who owns the footage. However, extracting information from the locals proves extremely difficult, as they refuse to reveal the truth about the creature shown in the video. At the same time, Bay receives a call from Doug, asking them to come to the hospital because the body of a victim killed by the creature has been found. Without hesitation, Travis and Bay rush to the hospital, where Katie and Brandon are already waiting. However, they are stopped by security because they lack official authorization. As a result, Brandon disguises himself as a doctor, while Katie, who has studied anatomy, takes responsibility for explaining the internal structure of the victim's body. Once inside the morgue, they discover that the corpse has a fatal wound in the abdominal area. Not only that, but they also find a claw from the ferocious creature lodged inside the victim's body. Afterward, Travis and the others return to the camp, where Wuhan and Jen appear and finally agree to share their story more openly with Travis. Zhang Gao reveals that his younger brother once worked on the project and became a victim of the vicious creature. Travis asks why he is now willing to cooperate when he had previously refused to provide any information. Zhang Gao explains that Harker had also approached him and offered money in exchange for information, but he refused because he believed not every problem could be solved with money. That is why he decided to stand on Travis's side. Afterward, Zhang Gao points out the direction from which the creature appears, which turns out to be from beyond the hilltop. There they uncover more clues related to the creature's existence. At the same time, they notice a dark shadow moving behind the trees. Travis immediately moves in to investigate and discovers the prehistoric creature they have been searching for. This creature has a hybrid form resembling both a crocodile and a dragon, possesses hardened scales, and can move at incredible speed. It is called Cryptid. However, because of its agility, Travis quickly loses track of Cryptid. The next day, Dao reports that another attack has occurred at the project site. Since Travis lacks official access, he brings along a resident for assistance. Travis and Wuhan arrive at the site, where Wuhan deliberately distracts the workers so Travis can slip inside unnoticed. At the scene, Travis discovers a strange yellow powder. However, the arrival of Lanzang interrupts his investigation. Travis then advises Lanzang, who has now joined forces with Harker, pointing out that Harker consistently ignores rules and established working principles. Travis also teaches Lanzang several important research techniques and how to observe and analyze the collected evidence more carefully. At night, Cryptid attacks the project site again and drags a worker down into the lake. The following morning, Lanzang advises Harker to let Cryptid live, arguing that it is a rare species. However, Harker firmly disagrees and insists that humans occupy the top position in the biological hierarchy, and therefore have the right to eliminate the creature to protect other ecosystems. Meanwhile, Travis's team begins patrolling the lake by boat and installing equipment to track Cryptid's movements. Before long, they detect movement heading toward them, but it turns out to be Lanzang's boat and his team. However, the real danger soon emerges. Brandon notices abnormal movement again, and at that moment Cryptid surfaces and slams into Lanzang's boat, throwing him and his teammate into the water. Lanzang struggles to swim back to the boat, but his remaining teammate panics and flees, taking the boat with him. Seeing this, Travis immediately dives into the water to save Lanzang, but just as he is about to rescue the other teammate, Cryptid suddenly appears and seizes the victim. Faced with the deadly situation, Travis and the others are forced to retreat back to shore. After the incident, Doug becomes panicked and begins to believe that Harker's decision to kill the ferocious creature might actually be the right one. However, Travis insists that there is still a better option, which is to protect the creature for scientific research. Travis's reasoning calms Doug down and convinces him to agree with his viewpoint. The next morning, Travis and the team gather to discuss a plan to capture the massive creature. Because aquatic creatures are often highly sensitive to loud sounds, they speculate that cryptids would also be affected by intense noise. Therefore, Travis and Lanzang plan to infiltrate Harker's work area to steal sound data, which had been researched and stored by a biologist. The two secretly break into Harker's room and successfully copy the data. However, their presence is discovered by project workers, leading to Travis and Lanzang being captured and tied up. Seeing Lanzang's side with Travis leaves Harker visibly disappointed. After everyone leaves, Travis turns on the gas stove and uses the flame to burn through the ropes binding his hands, then helps Lanzang escape. Before leaving, Travis deliberately causes a gas explosion to create a distraction. Amid the chaos caused by the blast, Travis and Lanzang manage to flee, despite being chased by Harker's henchmen on a motorcycle. In the end, they manage to knock the pursuer unconscious and safely return to the camp. Travis recalls that earlier, he had discovered a yellow powder at the site where Cryptid left its traces. It turns out to be a mineral commonly found in caves. From this, he concludes that Cryptid is using a cave as its hiding place. Travis wastes no time and the entire team immediately sets off for that location. However, while traveling by boat, they detect abnormal movement around them. Brandon immediately activates the sound device, but unfortunately, the equipment malfunctions. Meanwhile, Cryptid has already begun closing in on them. In the end, Brandon is forced to jump into the water to repair the device. Luckily, he fixes it just in time. The system instantly comes back online and emits a powerful sound, driving Cryptid away before it can attack the boat. Afterward, Travis and the others continue their expedition, while Harker and his team also pursue along the same route. Before long, Travis reaches the cave. They split into two groups. Lanzang and Brandon move deeper inside the cave, while Jen and Dao remain at the entrance to wait and assemble the pre-prepared cage trap. However, at the same time Harker arrives at the cave and attacks Doug, who tries to stop him. Inside the cave, Lanzang and Brandon discover Cryptid's nest, where the creature is currently sleeping. They quickly prepare tranquilizer guns to subdue it, but Cryptid suddenly senses their presence, immediately wakes up, and chases Brandon, while Travis continuously tries to fire the tranquilizer. Eventually, Travis's shot hits its target, but the drug needs time to take effect. Cryptid falls unconscious and will awaken again after 1 to 2 hours. At that moment, Harker appears with the intention of claiming the creature for himself, leading to a violent struggle between Travis and Harker. During the fight, Harker gains the upper hand and pins Travis to the ground. Travis then reveals the truth that the creature they captured is only a juvenile cryptid, while the mother cryptid is outside. Sure enough, the much larger mother cryptid appears, causing everyone to flee in terror. Even so, Harker recklessly opens fire in an attempt to kill it. Amid the chaos, Travis and Lanzeng find cover and retreat to the cave entrance to reunite with Katie and Jen, who are hiding inside the cage. However, Brandon is separated from the group. Meanwhile, the mother cryptid launches a furious attack and systematically kills members of Harker's team. Harker himself is violently slammed into a rock wall and knocked unconscious. The mother cryptid continues charging toward the cage where Travis and the others are hiding. Sensing the danger, Brandon deliberately draws Cryptid's attention to lure it away from the cage. Thanks to this, Travis and the group seize the opportunity to escape and board the boat. Travis takes the sound device and returns to the cage to continue luring the mother cryptid. Once everyone is safely on the boat, Travis tells them to leave without waiting for him. Afterward, Travis turns off the sound, causing the mother cryptid to roar in agony and hurl the cage against the rock wall. This gradually exhausts and weakens it. Travis immediately takes advantage of the moment to escape and reunite with his teammates waiting outside the cave. After subduing the prehistoric creature, they isolate the cryptid for long-term research purposes. At the same time, Doug confesses that the mysterious client is actually himself. The film concludes with Travis and the others building a settlement near the lake, while protecting Cryptid to ensure that its habitat remains untouched by human interference.